Hello there, Tarky here. I think I speak for a lot of Labour Party voters who are, frankly, looking on in shocked amazement at where we are only 12 weeks after a record-breaking general election. There was so much hope in that victory that a government which had long outlived its electoral mandate, achieved almost nothing of note, yet had inflicted so much pain and incompetence on both people and the country they lived in, was finally sent packing, and in such a conclusive manner, well, it seemed like the start of renewal. Unfortunately, whomever is in charge of Labour's messaging has, to use the technical term, dropped a considerable number of bollocks since August, and we are left wondering about the policies they promised us too. The surprise announcement of means testing for the winter fuel allowance for pensioners has been a gift for the right in politics, no matter that they've all wanted to do the same for years, and, thanks to that appalling messaging by the government, ended up looking like simple penny pinching from a vulnerable section of society. The latest figures suggest it won't save even the smallish sum Reeves believed it would. Now, one can make an argument for means testing such a universal benefit, given that 20% of retirees are thought to live in millionaire households. Unfortunately, that means 80% don't, and whilst many still live with sufficient wealth, many do not, and the income cut-off threshold announced is simply far too low, especially given the UK's stingy state pension level. This also matters because Rishi Sunak attempted to defend the Tories' record in government at their party conference this weekend by claiming that more children and pensioners had been lifted out of poverty than before. In fact, the reverse is the truth for both. Yet Labour is effectively removing WFA from over 80% of pensioners. Talk about an open goal. Another little nasty that's doing the rounds, though in a very low-key way right now, is a suggestion that the 25% reduction in council tax for single occupants might be scrapped also. That rumour persists because senior government officials have, so far, only responded with "nothing is off the table." It is also clearly not good politics to have various gifts to Starmer and other party members highlighted immediately following the furore over WFA. Now, to be clear, none of these gifts are unlawful, nor even unusual in the scheme of UK politics. Indeed, for all the attempts to portray Starmer as a record-breaking gift and grift recipient, it's obvious the Labour Party has declared all it should, and the Tories merely benefit from the rule, a rule they introduced, that ministers do not have to declare such gifts. Again, perfectly within the rules of Parliament as they stand. It is a PR gift to the opposition, however, and a very bad look broadly, when one of your first policy announcements was, "We are taking away money from the majority of pensioners." Once again, why such bad PR and communications? And, having promised no tax rises for ordinary people, why do Labour think these penny-pinching announcements look like anything but a form of taxation by stealth on the poorer end of society? I think I may have an answer for this apparent comms incompetence, and it's this. The Labour Party, led by the very establishment Sir Keir Starmer, and with ex-Bank of England Rachel Reeves in the second most important role as Chancellor, has forgotten that the Tory media, particularly the Tory client print media, absolutely hates the Labour Party. Labour has forgotten that the Tories almost always get an easy ride, if not a free pass, for all their policies and missteps. Labour does not. Labour needs to urgently wake up, update its communication strategy and campaigns rapidly, and ensure the open goals they are leaving are defended vigorously. If you do have policies like the means testing of WFA, or the rumoured removal of the sole occupancy discount for council tax, then that needs to be offset by simultaneous announcements of the extra taxation on the wealthy that has been promised. and some relief for those most directly affected by these effective cuts, like, say, a lifting of the basic personal tax allowance, the freezing of which was a Tory wizard wheeze, and which means everyone slowly pays more income tax by stealth, especially lower earners. And, of course, there's always amending what has been taken as politically normal for years, the rules for MPs and Parliament. MPs are paid a not insignificant salary. Cabinet ministers and the Prime Minister even more so. Isn't it time this was acknowledged, given Keir Starmer's pledge of country before party? Make the acceptance of gifts, even the offering of them to MPs, outlawed and forbidden. Even if it appears perhaps a little monkish, this is surely a better public front when you've only spoken of bad news about the economic mess left to you by the Tories, when you've only spoken about taking money away from those mostly less well off. Now, certain people in Parliament, not mentioning some recent PMs, have abused gifting to the point of corruption. Gifts aren't necessary, look suspicious to a public already distrustful of its politicians, and MPs are now paid more than sufficient that they can look after themselves. Don't mistake me. A Labour government will always do more for ordinary people than the Conservative Party, which now exists for its wealthy backers. But this is an inauspicious start. Let's see what happens with fingers crossed. Anyway, chin chin.